Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the delay plus, and I want to use it as modulation delay. So not in the clocked configuration, but in the manual millisecond configuration, because we can get quite interesting results like this. Here I have a little bongo loop from Future Phonics, I think. And yeah, let's go to town with it. So first you see that this delay goes down to 0 milliseconds, which a lot of delays do not, and this is quite important for yeah, when you want to use it as a modulation delay. Let me remove this shift between left and right, and also set it to configuration stereo. And now you can see this little 23 here, which is actually the buffer size I've set up in Bitwig, but we only have this because I have a default device in here in my default settings for the delay plus. As soon as I remove this, this limitation is gone. And now also let me remove my own pages. So the macro page and also all of these modulators that are in my default setting. And okay, well, let's also set this to more or less maximum and minimum. Turn off docking, increase the feedback. And now let's listen to it. So yeah, sounds quite psychedelic, and in my opinion, it is a very good sounding delay. Maybe if yours doesn't sound that way, I think the default setting here on changes is fade, which means it just crossfades. It does not change the pitch like a tape delay would do. And in order to get this effect, which we absolutely want, you have to change it to repitch. And also very interesting, we have access to the update rate, which is basically defining how quickly or how sluggish the delay will update. Like right when you have a tape delay, you know, it might have some internal inertia and it might react quicker or slower to certain changes, and this can be simulated here. And okay, let's look at it real quick. So if I turn this down to like 1 hertz, probably, yeah, once per second, and now if I change this here, you will hear that it adjusts really, really slow. So this is a really cool feature, because sometimes when it reacts too quick and follows the knot movements too precisely, it sounds unnatural, and when it's too slow, it sounds too sluggish. So it's really nice that we can control this parameter here. Usually I leave it around 10, somewhere between 10 and 50 hertz, but you can go up to 1 kilohertz so that it really precisely moves or follows the movements here. But for now, yeah, I think for this clip, around 30 hertz is kind of the ideal setting. For my taste, of course, it's just whatever floats your boat. Okay. Okay, the way I want to use it, the range here is way too big. So what I sometimes do, I kind of find my minimum that I want, which is roughly around 1 millisecond. I do not want to go down to 0. And then I pick a macro, and actually we can pick a macro 4 because no, do we need? No, let's just pick a simple macro. Because for some reason I found the macro 4 a bit confusing, even though it is actually not. And I just apply a certain amount here of a certain amount of modulation. And yeah, now I can use it from or steer it from my MIDI controller, and I don't have to pay attention too much on how I move the knob. And so it's, and then yeah, okay. Let's add the time here. We of course have to map it to this one here. Then I also want to control the feedback and the mix directly from this page. Yeah, really nice, really nice and psychedelic. What I think you always should do when you work with these kind of modulation delays and you manipulate the feedback, drop in some sort of limiter, or I'll use an over here, because yeah, as soon as you get to infinite feedback loop territory, it can get really loud really quickly. So we want to set a limit to that. And also these kind of delays, I think you can squash them and distort them quite a bit. And it sounds good. So let's see. Well, I'm not sure whether this is the perfect bongo loop for this track here. I just picked one for demonstration purposes, but I think you can hear it's quite psychedelic. And from here we can, of course, expand it. Because one thing that disturbs me here, or yeah, I would like to have, is independent control of the left and the right delay lane, and or the left and right feedback and delay time. And we don't have this here. It's a stereo delay, or it can be run in mono and ping pong configuration, but we do not have independent control of the delay lines. But this is an easy fix. So I will just use a split. Actually, you can get really crazy here. I mean, you can use frequency split. You can create a spectral delay with this. You can have a stereo split, which we will use, or a mid-side split. All sorts of interesting ideas. And okay, now we have this, and I will not just drop it into the left and right channel. But let me set up a few things real quick before I copy it to the right channel, because I wanted to copy modulations. So there are certain things I want to control independently, which would be the time, but the mix and the feedback should be equal for both the left and the right delay. So let's add a macro, and here maybe let's use a macro 4, and turn these down to 0 because we're going to control this with the macro. So we have the feedback macro, and then we have the mix, which we don't want to control independently. We could go on and map, kind of the low cut and high cut and whatnot. Right, if you want to default or create a preset, take your time. And now that I have done this, I copy it to the right channel. And if I'm not mistaken, now both of these delay have the mappings. So that's why you should do these mappings. before copying. It's just a bit more convenient. Okay, then let's add a modulation page. And first, the independent control. I want the left and the right to be controlled independently. And then the feedback and the mix is controlled by the macros. Or is it? Did I map it correctly? No, I did not, I think. Delete. Feedback and mix. Okay. Yeah, now it's correct. Okay, now let's see how this now sounds. Okay, nice stereo modulation delay. Okay, what's next? Yeah, I mean, since we're already on it, why not group this entire thing? And now we can actually open the mix here all together so that the delays are both on full wet, and then control the mix from here. And now we have an independent delay kind of channel. Now everything in here is the wet signal, so we can further manipulate the wet signal without affecting the dry loop. So maybe I want to add a compressor here. Let's see. Yeah, again, I think here you can squash it quite a bit. That was wrong. Yeah, take a little bit down. Have to select the right instrument or group in this case. And now we want to control everything from the group level instead of the stereo split. And well, this is just one-to-one mapping. But actually, we don't want this mix here because this should remain on 100%. For convenience, we just map this mix. So. Yeah, okay, why not some stutter effects? Let's pick stutter probability. That's the device I made. No, didn't want this one, but this one might also be interesting. Now let's see. Here I have the chance of a stutter event actually occurring. And if I remember correctly, this one decides whether the stutter is actually pitching and pitching up or down. So yeah, let's just try it out. This is the chance. This is okay. Stutter probability, and this one is the pitch. Well, if you want, you can pause the video and reconstruct it. It's a relatively simple device using a simple long delay, and then it just manipulates the blend here and the delay time. Yeah. Maybe I want to place this before the compression. Yeah. Yeah, and of course, we can continue to experiment, add chorus, flangers, pitch shifters, bit crusher. Let's add a frequency shifter. Let's see how this sounds. Yeah. Nice. Okay, and we still have 2 slots left here. So one goes to the frequency and the other one to the mix. Then let's play a little bit. Yeah, this is just now a field for experimentation. So yeah, well, the core message was actually what I meant to convey is that the Delay Plus is a fantastic modulation delay. And also, I forgot to talk about the soft clip. Yeah, now with the complex routing, it doesn't make sense anymore to make an example, or it would be too time consuming. But here you can easily control the clipping, where it starts clipping, and you have soft clip, hard clip, and compression. Soft clip actually simulates something similar to a tape delay. So when the feedback reaches a certain level, especially when it goes over this point here, and when it's above 100%, then the delay would actually get louder instead of quieter, right? And by controlling the threshold here, you basically control at which point it should actually start distorting or go into saturation like a tape delay would. So this is a quite interesting knob. Or let me demonstrate it real quick so that you guys understand what I'm talking about, if you do not already. So let's deactivate this and add a new instance, and let's turn it down to like -17. Now I will play a short chunk, and while being in infinite loop mode or above 100% feedback. Yeah, it's just a nice little feature which allows you to make this thing sound a lot more analogish. And yeah, I think this is it for now. Maybe I make a video about my default configuration. But that's for another day. So if you like the video, obviously like it, subscribe, and also comment. Tell me what you would like to see next. And I see you next time.